Physical Dark is quite large. Yeah, yeah. Dates will be added for the conclusions. I see a Dark Knight Cecil. Yeah, Rem is not in the game currently, so she will need an ETA. Adios, Shad. Alright, Garland. Like Warrior of Light for his element, Garland gets the Darkness Chain. And Garland's Darkness Chain doesn't hide what it's supposed to do. It is a 22 single attacks Darkness Chain, so it adds quite a bit of chain right away. So that's just an excellent chain. That's all. Not much I can say about that from there. But let's go into his USB and see what else this character has available to him. 10 single attacks, 0.71, grants attached Darkness Quick Cycle, and Chaos Follow-Up. So not only is this have a Quick Cycle, which means he gets Quick Cast every time he uses a Darkness ability, but he also has Chaos Follow-Up, so he has a Chase that goes with it. A Chase and a Cycle. On the same USB. Two single attacks of 0.91, so it doesn't even pay that much of a penalty for being a cycle as well as a chase. 1.82 is really quite nice. And it drains for 20% of the damage dealt with the chase. So this is really powerful. This is an amazing USB. The really nice thing about that drain on his chase is that instead of Darkness Quick Cycling Dread Weapon, which is the 5-star Darkness Drain attack, he can use Crimson Cross instead and damage himself to deal disgusting amounts of damage because of the multiplier on that ability, and then drain with the follow-up. So, you know, the price you pay for using Crimson Cross is actually just mitigated. This is one of the best USBs I've seen. So even without the chain, he'd probably be worthy of S with just that. So let's take a look at his Legend Dive. 40% chance of restoring HP to the user for 40% of the damage dealt with single target dark attacks. So not only is he draining with his chase, but he's draining with Crimson Cross itself. And if all else fails and he doesn't hit these procs, and he does take enough damage from Crimson Cross for it to matter, he has a Trance Mode LMR, restores HP to 100% of the user's maximum HP, and grants Quick Cast for 25 seconds. So he Quick Casts Crimson Cross. Is it worth using the USB and BSB2 together? Well, let's talk about the BSB. Garland's BSB1 is not worth mentioning. It's just bad. So we're not going to. Garland was kind of a laughingstock of a character before this latest Final Fantasy 1 event where he got all this stuff that we're talking about now. So I'm not going to go into that, but I will go into his BSB2. 8 single attacks, grants haste, attach, dark, and burst mode to the user. Nothing special so far, but he's one of those guys with commands. 2 single attacks at 0.4 each. You know where this is going. 4, 5, 6, 7 single attacks. Scaling with chain cast uses. Chain cast is the command 1. So this is exactly like Squalls, except for darkness instead. So not only does Garland have the chain, but Garland has one of the best damaged USBs I've seen. And Garland has the BSB version of one of the highest damage BSBs in the entire game. What the hell? Where did Garland come from? There's so many ways that he is one of the best characters that deals darkness damage, or dark damage. It's an easy, simple S. What penalty does his USB pay for the chase? None. Not only does he get the chase, but he gets Darkness Quick Cycle as well. No stats. You know, other people usually get plus 30% like attack and defense. Right, yeah. So instead of the self buff, he gets Quick Cycle instead. I'll take the Quick Cycle. Especially since he's a darkness character and he can death throws. So who's next? Leon. How are you? Can you live up to that? I know you can't, because I don't think anybody on this list besides Orlando can. And maybe not even Orlando. Leon, Lord of Darkness. Well, that's a hell of a title for someone that's not Garland. 8 single attacks, 0.86 each, grants HP stock 6,000, and darkness plus 30% boost and attach dark to the user. So no X modes or anything to take a look at. This is a very simple thing. Darkness 30% boost with Crimson Cross, and you don't mind using Crimson Cross because he has HP stock 6,000. It's exactly meant to go with that. So that's going to be, and I'm going to do the same thing I did for Physical Holy. I'm going to go and look at Crimson Cross, because that's what a lot of these physical characters are going to be based upon. Their ability to use this effectively. If they can't use this effectively, then they're losing out on the damage that other physical dark damage dealers can do. So right off the bat, we see Physical Holy had Dark or Guardbringer, which was a 4.0 multiplier, and that was awesome. Crimson Cross is actually bigger at 4.2, and it gets a buff. It gets a buff to 4.4. And instead of draining him for 30% of him, or draining the user for 30% of their max HP, it moves to 25 instead, because 30 was a little out of control. But so 25%. Which works together with Leon's USB. I actually like this a lot. It's not Garland's. But Darkness 30% on Crimson Cross is very damaging. That's very, very heavy damage. For now, I think... Oh, Legend Materia. Leon gets a 25% chance to dual cast with his LMR. Why would Crimson be replaced with Sanguine? It's not tiny. It's not tiny at all. That's a 3.8 multiplier compared to a 4.4. That's a big difference. Maybe use Sanguine Cross on characters that don't self-heal and just kind of deal with it. But yeah. Darkness physical characters are based upon that 4.4, I think. So the best Darkness physical characters are those that can effectively use that 4.4. Right, yeah, I guess if you're capping, but I don't see that being much of an issue. Maybe for Leon. But Leon also doesn't really care about using Crimson Cross because he has an HP stock 6,000 on his USB. So I'm going to actually toss him an S. He's definitely not Garland tier. But we'll see what happens to A. I don't know. I think he's... that USB makes him S. Definitely not his BSB, though. It's all in his USB and his LMR. And Leon. Garland, Gafgarian, and Leon. So, Dark Knight Cecil. Well, yeah, Garland is SS. He's one of those characters that occupies S, but doesn't kind of define the tier. Yes, Dragon, I do believe so. But I don't know that for sure. Anyway, moving on. Dark Knight Cecil. Dark Knight Cecil gets an OSB. That's the multiplier increases depending on what his health is. And you know how bad those are. Because you never want to willingly have someone low HP. So what's going on with your BSB, Cecil? 8 group attacks damages the user for 25% of their max HP. Okay. So he gets a self buff. And then his free effect is he damages himself for 25% of his max HP. Great free effect. Commands. Gets an attack increase. So not even a multiplier increase, gets an attack increase. This character is so bad. Oh man, does he get a... He does. He gets a Legend Dive. Percent chance of restoring HP to the user. Well, it's a good thing that he gets that as an LM2, because his Burst Soul Break hurts him for no reason, with no reward. What's Crimson Curse? Is this going to turn it all around, Dark Cecil? Oh, no, it's not. It's just attack plus 35% and defense plus minus 35%. God damn, is he bad? So, Dark Cecil is getting a C because he does get an OSB, and he... Oh, wait a second. Nope. That's he doesn't even get in Dark. He has no way to give himself end dark. My bad. Sorry, guys. It's a minor slip up. Shadow. Shadow's USB abandoned past. 10 random attacks grants abandoned past to the user. Oh, and important to note that this USB is... Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Is instant. So it's an instant dark attack. 10 random attacks. And grants high quick cast 1 after using a dark attack. Uses Vanishing Blade after using a ninja ability if the user has any physical blink. We went over this already inside the water section for both Yuffie and Edge. It does an obscene amount of damage. And the high quick cast 1 just... It makes ninja attacks it's essentially instant, giving them like a 0.2 second cast time. So he just spams those, gives himself physical blink, and Vanishing Blade is a 2-hit chase if you've got 2 stacks, a 1-hit chase if you have 1 stack of physical blink. And it's really powerful, and he acts really quickly, and he does a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So much damage that he is it's pretty easy to throw him an S, especially when you consider that he has a 35% chance to dual cast ninja abilities, and he can grant himself attached dark at the beginning of the battle. Yeah, he's a complete darkness package. He's phenomenal. So there's a lot of S's. God, I hope this dissipates. Cloud, what are you doing in physical dark? All you do is life siphon bot, and then use your USB again. That sounds like you shouldn't even be here, even though you can do dark damage. So maybe you do. Maybe you do belong here. I don't have Cloud's USB. How is Cloud's USB if you're just life siphoning and then using it? I'm thinking C. Yeah, everyone did murked. The entry is actually quite good if you've casted it once. So if you recast Cloud's USB, you do not get any No, that can't be true. That would be the only thing that acts that way, other than chains. I'm pretty sure chains are the only ones that do that. Yeah, you can use it repeatedly. But it's still not good because you're wasting a lot of time just life siphoning, and squandering his 35% chance to dual cast. But if he got entrusted and all he did was use his USB against a dark target, I think that would do a hell of a lot of damage. So I don't think I can put him in C. He's B at worst. It doesn't matter, Rainmaker. It's the effects that Cloud gives himself. He gets 30% increased damage, full stop, and 100% crit. So that's 50% more damage on top of that. Not the recast. Well, the recast is where the multipliers... I mean, the multiplier matter. It's like 7.1, just like most other single-target USBs, right? $7.5. I think he's B. I mean, you just... If he spam casts this, it's an extreme amount of damage. He does need the support to get there, though. Because otherwise, he's using Omega Drive. Which, you know, can be fine, but it's not like silly amounts of damage. Anyway, Sephiroth. Sephiroth's got some stuff to go through. We'll start with the USB. Heartless Angel USB 7.0 grants Attach Dark stacking, Attach Dark, and Heartless Angel. We haven't seen Attach Dark or Attach Element stacking on a Soul Break before, but here it is. It's not that impressive. I think it's nice on the flash techs, but less so here. So let's look at that last. Right here we see it's an Attached Dark, Super Soul Break so far. And let's see if Heartless Angel is, you know, good enough to make this USB type. Heartless Angel is just attack plus 50% and defense and resistance minus 50% for 25 seconds. That's bad. That's not much. So this Attached Dark stacking needs to redeem this and make this a powerful USB. Attached Dark stacking allows to accumulate Attached Dark. Are you going to give us an explanation for that? Or do I have to actually look up a post? Does anyone have the post for it? Ugh. So, while we're locating that, why I prefer flash techs is because flash techs take a half of a soul break, right? And that's good because you cast it immediately, and then you can next turn use a Soul Break, and you get plus 80% damage with that, using the Attach Dark and the Attach Dark stacking. So it's a pre-game. But my issue with Sephiroth's is it takes a full bar. No Laricos. I'll cover those some other time. I covered them already on a preview, so I'd rather not interrupt this for something I've already covered. And Flash Tech is 0 cast time, and it's a pre-game, so increases the damage that you're going to do with something by 80%, but only costing 50% of a Soul Break. So I like that we're getting stacking from that. The issue with Sephiroth is he gets the stacking from the cast of the Soul Break itself, so he doesn't benefit from it beforehand. So the initial cast of his Soul Break is just going to be bad. The USB itself is not good, so he needs to cast it more than once to get there. And at that point, it's... if you're not augmenting... and more than just Attach Dark, if you're not augmenting the ways in which these characters use abilities, or do something else that's cool, it's no good. So I really just don't like this USB at all. But Sephiroth does have other things available to him, which is an OSB, Dark and Fire, a BSB2, which is actually quite nice, but kind of relegated a bit. Not really, because he has no way to drain, I don't think. But he does have a trance mode, doesn't he? We definitely need to look at his legend materia. Yeah, he has a trance mode. So he doesn't mind using the self drains, Crimson Cross and Sanguine Cross, because he can recover from it. So his BSB2 does lose a lot of value because his BSB2, what's nice about it, it has one of the strongest burst commands for dealing damage at like a 3.0 multiplier, but Sanguine Cross, even the weaker one, has a 3.8. So but let's see what Sephiroth Trance does. Sephiroth Trance gives him another plus 50% attack, but cast speed times 3. So his trance is nice, but loses 50% defense. Ooh, boy. Yeah, I'm not pulling on the Bra banner. I never was. I always said that I was only going to consider pulling on the Bra banner if it had Deuce's BSB on it. And this one didn't, so it was a auto skip. So he's got a good trance mode. How does this fit into what he does? I feel like all of his damage boosting coming from attack stat instead of other ways really just limits him. Harshly. I think I can give him... I'm gonna give him B. I think my issue here with Sephiroth is he doesn't really boost his damage output other than Attached Shark. He gives himself a ton of attack, but so he triggers his trance mode, the only protection that he has against Crimson and Sanguine Cross, right? And then he starts casting at 3 times speed. What's he casting? Is he casting Crimson Cross at 3 times cast speed with no fallback plan? He's just going to kill himself. So he needs to use Crimson, or Sanguine Cross and not Crimson. Fair. Reaping Scythe doesn't look bad. It's a 4.0 if he's doomed, and you can obviously just doom him with death throws. Of course, 50% more or 30% more attack. So this is good. This is good. It does stink that this is his ability. Why is he so difficult? Okay, we can give him A. I was going to give him B, but Reaping Scythe definitely changes that. Because I think he can be a competent attacker with that. There is no conflict with the 50% attack boost. Unless you're getting it from Shout or something. Both his Trance and his USB are unique statuses, so they will stack with Death Throws. So, Rufus. Rufus actually becomes a character, somewhat, with the next Final Fantasy VII event. He is also on the Sephiroth banner, along with Aerith. It's a hell of a triangle, right? Causes Imperil Dark with his BSB. What are the commands? Three single range, grants quick cast 2 to the user. 2 group for a 1.0 multiplier. And a 20% chance to minor imperil. Well, Rufus is C. Did, you just test that, Dallas? Or did, like... It does. I don't know if it changes any of the grades. Scarlin's not going anywhere. Leon doesn't rely on a trance. He relies on HP stock 6000. Sephiroth, we established, probably won't be using either of those abilities. So, I'll just move on. Seifer. Cypher. Myriad of ways that you can say his name. For Forbidden Fell Slash. 7 single attacks. Multiplier increases, HP decreases. Well, that stinks. Grants attached dark to the user. Restores HP to the user for 70% of the maximum HP. Well, that's awful. That's truly wretched. So it's just a super soul break that heals him. Wow. Wow, wow. All right. What else you got? It's got a BSB that has a very, very unique command on it. That is not terribly practical, but probably kind of fun. So he gains Desperate Madness and Radiant Shields, and the Radiant Shield increases in potency every time he uses the commands. As well as the BSB cast itself, giving him Sentinel, so he's taunting attacks to him, and then creating a giant Radiant Shield on him. Not really functional, but really fun. Really fun. If there's something to be said about Seifer, is that his USB weapon itself is plus fire damage for some weird reason. I suppose because the Soul Break itself does fire damage, but he's absolutely, positively a darkness character, or a dark character. Let's see his Legend Materia. Grants Last Stand and Re-Raise. So he really, really, really just can't die. And then once he dies, he comes back. But when he comes back, he sucks. Because Re-Raise. It has an awful LMR. Yeah, Seifer is like... I suppose he gets attached dark, right? On the USB. So, C. Eject. Ultimate Eject Rush. 10 single attacks, attack and defense plus 30%, grants critical chance 75%, quick cast and dark quick cycle. So he quick cycles while having a critical chance of 75%. How good is this? Probably can't evaluate it until we take a look at his Legend Materia. %35% chance to dual cast abilities that deal dark damage. Okay. So I would say he's another Reaping Scythe character. Because he has no way to heal himself. It increases dark damage dealt by 10% and attached dark, or the other two Legend Materia. So I'd say Brask or Eject is meant to use Death Rose and then Reaping. And he has an OSB as well. You could do Dread Weapon if you want. I think it's only a 3.0 multiplier, though, to Reaping Scythe's 4. Yeah, it's only a 3.0. So, if you're no healing the fight and you need all of that quick cycled healing, then sure. But that's a pretty gigantic multiplier increase between the two. I think if there's one like actual DPS oriented positive that Dread Weapon provides, that would be the ability to use Life Siphon. Where with Reaping Scythe you need to use a self-doom as well as the ability itself. And I think it's the... because I think that's his most ideal combination here, would be using this 4.0. The dual cast Dark, though, that's really nice. I want to... like, my initial thought is A, but... I think Reaping does become good with the ability upgrade. It's just like Dark Zone. Dark Zone fell off really hard because it has such a high multiplier that it just ran into cap issues when it was 2 hits. So burst commands ended up being better, but once it opened up to 4 hits, Dark Zone and I think Reaping Scythe become 2 really powerful abilities. Yeah, I think he's worthy of S. The 75% crit is fantastic for recasting Soul Breaks if you're not using his OSB. Yeah, I think that USB is really strong. And he did get Endark on it, right? Oh no, he didn't. Ah. So the critical chance 75% isn't even as powerful as Endark would be. But he has LNL Lamar that gives him that, doesn't he? Yeah. And the LMR does come on the banner that has his USB, so there's that. Just sucks. It sucks needing your LMR. But, I mean, if you've got it, then you're in like sin. In like sin. Get it? Yeah. Zed. C. It's just a basic burst. That one would be up there. Pretty high. That was an S tier joke, ST. Gabranth. What's up, Blender? Your turn today, huh? Galoop's on fire. That was a good one. Ruin Unflinching, Gabranth's USB. 10 single attacks, attack and defense plus 30% to the user, grants attached dark. Quick cast and dark quick cycle. So it is Jacked USB, except attached dark instead of crit rate 75%. And the attached dark is better. Put it this way. When you critical hit with something, you deal 50% more damage. When you are under the attached dark status and you deal damage to something of that element, you do 50% more damage. Unless you're a soul break, and then you do 80%. So in order for Jacked with his crit rate 75%, or with his crit rate, to match what attached dark can do, it would have to be 100% crit. And even then it wouldn't match what attached dark can do, because attached dark increases soul break damage by 80%, which crit cannot achieve by itself. It needs a critical damage buff. So this is at least immediately better than Jacked. But Jacked does get attached dark as well on his LMR. So let's see if Gabranth can make up for that added benefit that Jacked gets elsewhere. Which would be in Legend Materia. Starts battle with attached dark. Not as useful. Definitely does not have dual cast dark abilities at 35%. So Gabranth actually gets, though he has technically has the better USB, he actually gets shot down to A, I think. Does have an OSB. Yeah, it's his legend dive. It hurts him. While Jex is quite good. Vayne. Don't have to go far for that one. Vayne USB. Latest final, basically the latest event in Japan until tonight. Uh, 10 single hybrid, so we got another hybrid in the house. Attack defense or magic defense, depending on which is higher statistic. Grants attached dark and Sephira follow up. So he gets a chase. Sephira follow up. 5 single hybrid ranged attacks, 100% hit rate. So it's kind of like Titus, but 5 attacks instead. Of 6. Little higher multiplier. It's actually a good chase. 2.0 for physical. What's your legend material like? 35% chance to dual cast abilities that deal dark damage. This is a powerful character. Garland is not the first character that got a recent redressing in in Japan and actually comes out much better for it. End of the world. Yeah, everything is coming crashing down now. Grant attack and defense plus 30%. Attach wind? Why are you dark? You're not a dark character. Dragoon quick cycle? Get out of here. You give me a call when we get a Darkness Dragoon ability in the game. Aranea too. Yeah, you have a Dragoon focused burst as well. The only thing you have is an OSB that has a higher multiplier of exploiting weakness, but you don't have any way to give yourself End Dark, so that's not valid. Orlando, I'm not going to go over him again. I just did for Holy. Orlando is very much the same thing in Dark, except I would say better. Because he can dual or tri-cast Darkness abilities with his USB, and auto crit with them, and all sorts of funny stuff. But what's really interesting is that the best Knight abilities require him to have a high defense, which he doesn't. So he actually uses Darkness abilities better. So I would, though his OSB is Holy Enlightening, so there's that. But as far as like using his USB and abilities, he's a better Darkness character than he is Holy, and that's frightening. Gafgarian. Shadowblade Dance. 10 random attacks, attack and defense 30%, attach Dark, and Dark might follow up. Yeah, just Nick, I know, but that's just... That's it. That's all she's got. Yeah. I think in many situations it would, Sir Kill. You don't want to use Crimson Cross on Orlando. You definitely would want to use Reaping Scythe. Two single attacks. Heals the user for 20% of the damage dealt. Okay. So it's like Leon. So whenever he uses Crimson Cross, he heals himself with his chase. Which I really like. Legend Materia? Ugh. It's 25% chance to Smart Ether 1 to the user after using a quick dark attack. That's... What? And his LMR at least is a trance mode. he's A. So Garland and Leon aren't moving. Shadow is not moving. Jekt is funny. Vayne and Orlando are easy. Ended up liking Sephiroth as I went on. Cloud's very simple. He's a simple boy. You did it again! Well, I guess I'll update it while I'm up here. Kind of like the way the list turned out. That's a lot of S's. Can we make a case for Jekt to drop? I feel like with a 35% chance of dual casts, that'd have to be a no. Yeah, he needs that LMR. Shadow does not. His LMR is nice to give him attached dark, but he doesn't need it. Vayne doesn't need it. Garland, Leon. Fine, you guys got me. I'll do it. Yeah, doesn't quite need it. But he needs it to be S tier, Dallas. If your way of getting your LMR is by having to cast a completely separate and bad Soul Break to get there, then that would be bad. That is bad. So that is why I don't factor it into the equation. Magical Dark.